And, you have to improve your skill in the sense that you should educate the other generation over your skill about a journalist. Secondly, I'm very happy you're talking about business, whereby we have heard that now they have increased the lending thing from 21 to 28. We don't know if it is percent or what, but how are we going to help the journalists also to participate in those areas? Because can you lend the journalist 28% or whatever to do the study in user? So we have to support that. If really your panel can also elaborate on that one, so that the people, especially the young ones, should know how it is easier to join this kind of a skill which can able to be educative to them and improve our nation on understanding of all the business stories which are coming up from the media. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution. Well, he says he's very happy that this particular competition is open to everybody else. Emma.
Fantastic. Yes, well, if I heard correctly, I think one of the questions that he wanted to ask was, how do we encourage our young people to be a part of journalism? And I think in the world in general, there is this overall feeling that journalism is soon to be a dead career because of the way, as we've been talking about, that information is so accessible. And especially with the internet, it's very easy to get hold of this information. So is the world going to need journalists? And at the end of the day, of course, you will always be needed. And even if, and I would be extremely sad if it did happen, but even if we got to a sad day when newspapers and print media went out of style, you've still got to be out there and you've still got a voice. And the internet, for me, is a tool. And as we said before, it's there and people have it and they just need to take the opportunity.
And I mean, the internet is fed by journalists.
Exactly, exactly. The information still comes from people at the end of the day. So people and journalists are always very valid. And yesterday I was on a talk with Mr. Ray Wilburn of the Partners Guide, and he made a very valid point. And he said that even though people may feel that journalism isn't exactly the most well-paid job, or it's something that's dying out, as we have mentioned, at the end of the day, if you're a business journalist, you are meeting the shakers and the changers of the world. You are meeting the policy makers. You are meeting the businessmen and women who are making the decisions. And wouldn't it be wonderful if it was your opinion or your piece of writing that really changed their opinion and made a difference, and therefore made a difference to the people around you and in your community?
All right. So I did ask earlier about the question of the people involved. Right. Andrew Mulenga, the CNN African Journalist of the year 2012, is going to be part of this?
He will be part of this. He, in fact, after you have submitted your essays and your NRC, the details that I mentioned earlier, then there's a process of judging, and the top 10 finalists will actually be receiving a week's worth of training from Andrew Mulenga, as well as the team from the Partners Guide and some UK media partners who we have, professionals who we have coming over. So that's a week worth of training with people that really, really know their stuff. And just looking at some of the other sponsors that are involved, I've got a list here, and obviously this is in relation to the Embassy of Sweden, because the grand prize for the winner is a 4-day trip to Sweden, where they'll be visiting various media houses over there and be getting to interact with the best in the business, as we like to say. On top of that, Stanbic obviously is here in the flesh, so that's given. We have Professional Insurance, Lafarge, Cutting Edge Ourselves, Intercontinental, Top Floor, Longacres, Lodge, ZNBC, the Daily Mail, QFM. Well, obviously you know ZNBC is all part of this situation. So we have all of these partners, and these are all people who are basically shouting that this is a valid career, that business journalism is something that they are excited about and something that they want to be a part of. So those could be potential employers for these wonderful journalists who are desperate to have great business journalists and young business journalists coming up through the ranks.
All right. Just to also talk about the issue of, journalists. What is the benefit of this particular project, I would call it, to the community? I know you've said it's open to there are some people who, you know, there's what we call citizen journalism, where people just pick up the phone and get, you know, film whatever is happening in their community and want to say, listen, this is what happened, I've provided some information. They want to become journalists. What is the benefit for them?
Well, I think for this is an answer to an excuse that a lot of people have all over the world. Young people in particular, and I say young people, but I'm sure it's older people as well, like to shrug their shoulders, throw their hands in the air and say, I can't do it because. I can't do it because I don't have support. I can't do it because I don't have money. I can't do it because, and the list goes on. And I think a competition like this in particular is an answer to that excuse, because as we said before, it's really very open to most people. And I think that for young people, it's a challenge and it's something different. And I think, speaking of it as my own generation, I think that it's something that people just need to take on, and it's an answer to all of their wonderful excuses.
All right. And obviously for Stanbic Bank, what is the impression that you want to give to the journalists and to the community by taking part in this fantastic competition?
If we're to sum it up in a sentence, we'll basically be saying we are fully in support of any activity that will enable people to become better at what they do. Journalism is no exception. I mean, we are supporters of various bodies within the country, and we do our bit to help out with accountancy bodies, marketing, obviously, with vested interests, the legal fraternity, and when they have their events. We felt this was an opportunity for us to jump in and assist with the journalism profession, which, like I said, is not a profession that is detached from us, but is actually a partner in us being able to communicate the stories that are relevant to our communities. And also, you pointed out an issue regarding citizen journalism. I think the fact that journalists still exist today means the job of a journalist now, even when a story has been broadcast already, is to find the story within the story. And anything we can do to help the journalists develop their eye to see the story within the story, we will gladly assist and support.
All right. How then can also business journalists, both print and broadcasting, take advantage of the internet? I know technology is one thing, you know, that has also come on board to sort of challenge the traditional way of the way we do our work as journalists. We write and we expect people to read, but then the internet comes and then there's all these stories and people don't want to buy papers, they want to go straight to the internet. How then can we use it for our benefit as well? Before you answer that, Emma, we have a caller on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Hello, good afternoon again.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon again.
Good afternoon again. Okay.
Yes, please, madam.
Hello.
I would like again to come back with.
Sir, could you kindly switch off your
Hello,
TV?
hello. Are you getting me properly?
Please switch off your TV.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
Are you
maybe,
getting me now?
yes, we can hear you.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me now. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Emma. She has answered me for one question. Yes. The other point which I need to raise, lastly, it's not really excuses which the young ones have for, joining this specialization for, like, let's say, a specialization in journalism. For my concept, I think most of the young ones, they do fear these jobs. Traditionally, as one person commented later, culture. You find that maybe this young lady or maybe this young man, he has good qualification maybe in English writings at school, and he has a good understanding of the studies, whereby he can able to start journalism. But because of maybe being shy and maybe failing maybe to come out with whatever his idea, they may not fail to join this part of skills or to contribute fully as journalists. But my question is, your organization, I'm sure, especially to Emma, how are you going to educate the young ones to know that journalism professional is very profitable, and journalism professional is also health for you, so that this generation, as we are talking about, there is cultural system, as somebody commented later on, but don't talk about too much about culture, because the world is being driven higher and higher. There are so many improvements. So I need Emma to clear me on that one. Secondly, coming to Mr. Kamiza, I think from Stanbic, especially like here in Zambia, we have a lot of school leavers with their grade 12 certificates, well done. How do the bank, especially when you are talking about you are from the bank, how do your bank is committed to help the young ones, and how do you assist them maybe to join this so-called specialization in journalism? Because a person to just stand up today and say, no, I want to be a journalist, it's not possible, because one, of course, he has to think about the cost and the other involvement in that part. So how do your bank is going to handle this part of the young ones to be also promoted fully and to welcome fully and supported fully by your banks to say maybe they can able to study journalism? You commented lastly on a part of the business improvement, which the state have said they have increased the borrowing system from 21% to 28%, although you didn't touch my point fully, but now I'm directing it to Mr. Kamiza from the bank.
All right.
How are you going to put this young journalist to explain to this young generation to understand that borrowing is not just because somebody is in employment or somebody is owning a small business, he can pay and so forth, but you can do this by ABC. How are you preparing for those parts so that everybody, from the young to the elder person, they have to understand the value of being a journalist?
All right.
Thank you. Let me end it there.
Thank you very much. That was a mouthful. I hope you can remember the questions. Emma, you can go first on this one. As we wind up our program as well, quickly comment on his question.
Right. If I heard the question correctly one more time, so I was having a bit of a hard time there. I understood that he was asking how an organization like the one that I am a part of plans on encouraging and educating young business journalists. Was I correct?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, for us, this initiative is really where we've started with. We're a small company ourselves, and we're really just making our mark in the world. But we've already understood that this is an extremely important initiative, and it's initiatives like this competition that we are definitely interested in participating in, and even in our own work in general. Like I said, we meet a lot of young journalists in our work, and we're always very encouraging of them, always willing to hear their ideas, always willing to put them in front of decision makers and give them the opportunity. So for us, that's the way that we go about it. We always are open and willing to hear and speak to young journalists and give them any encouragement that we can. All
right. Kamiza, you were also
yes.
aimed at.
Yes, quite a few questions there. It was a multi-pronged question. I think more than anything, the essence of our partnership in this program is the fact that we as a bank strongly believe in the philosophy of mentorship. And I think these individuals who participate and be lucky enough to show aptitude and make their way into the top 10 and so forth will have an opportunity that money can never buy. They will have at their disposal people who have been in the business, and this is information that is practical over years of experience that they will then be able to get within the shortest period of time possible, which they would never be able to get out of a book. As a bank, there was a comment regarding people's careers and career progression. All we can do is focus on an action that is taken. The steps and the choices made depend on the individuals. And so we will support journalism because we do have a vested interest. They are our partners in getting information out, as we said earlier, and as always, we'll be supportive of any career enhancement that will be brought to the journalism profession.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming through to the program this afternoon. I think a quick, information on the competition, Emma. When does it start? When does it end? Who can take part? Quick information like
this
that.
This is the quick shot round, so I'll try and say it as quickly and as clearly as I possibly can. So this competition is called the Partners Guide Young Zambian Business Journalist of the Year competition. As we said before, it is open to anybody who was born on or after the 1st of January 1985 who has a grade 12 certificate. You need to submit your identification, your grade 12 certificate and your CV along with 1,200 to 1,600 words on a business or economic topic that you think is important for the development of Zambia. That's also with an additional 250 words on why you think the media should report on business journalism in the first place. These can be submitted to journalism@pgzambia.com. The top 10 finalists will be selected after the 21st of July at 17 hours, so that's the deadline. And those top 10 finalists will be receiving training on the 5th of, from the 28th of August to the 28th of July to the 5th of August, excuse me. And the winner will be announced on the 6th of August at the Intercontinental at the launch of the Partners Guide website, www.pgzambia.com. Incidentally, on the website, there is actually a couple of links and useful links for business writers, including a piece by Chibamba Kanyama, the former Director General of ZNBC, on how to write business.
All right.
So those are the most important details that you need to know.
All right. So thank you very much, lady and gentlemen, for coming through to Press Club Live this afternoon.
Always
Thank
a pleasure.
you very much.
All right. And for those of you who are wanting to get into business reporting, economic writing, business writing, just be part of this competition. All you have to do is write a story about any business, issue in Zambia. It could be, farming, manufacturing, anything. There's so many of them. Zambia is has such a diverse industry. So get writing and then be part of this particular competition. You might just be the one going to Sweden for 4 days and just getting to find out how Sweden is managing and doing economically well. All right, this is where we end the program. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Chilufia Mwelwa. Let's do it again next week, Wednesday, same time, same channel. Bye-bye.